out, or we found out late Monday evening, that we had a couple of our employees that tested positive for COVID. So of course we put our protocols in place. We started our in-house contact tracing, got all the individuals notified, and we started to schedule the sanitation of all the offices that they're exposed to, and also put the folks that were exposed to that had close contact with the individuals on quarantine until we can get them tested and get the results back, and then get cleared by public health.
How many did you say were close contacts? Did you say?
Close contact, we're looking at, for both individuals, we're looking at about 17 individuals that we have identified to have close contact. Some were not close, but because of the timelines and abundance of caution, we included them in the close contact tracing, just to be sure that we want to make sure that they get tested and they're not positive.
Mm-hmm. And the 17, they're all on quarantine? Is that what you said?
Yes, ma'am. All the folks that we've done, we've put them on quarantine. We are scheduled to get tested. Of course, you can see my background. I'm in my quarantine room at home. We're scheduled to get tested this morning with public health. And then we'll come back to quarantine and wait for the results and wait for the clearance from public health to go back. Hopefully everyone turns out negative.
Right.
So who's running the airport?
I have right now that has a stick. I'm still accessible, of course. I have a very competent deputy executive manager with Dr. Ricky Hernandez. He's got the stick at this time for any personal or issues that sign off on. And so he'll be at the office.
Right. Let's move over to Customs Chief Ike Pareto. Chief, we didn't get the chance to offer our condolences to you directly for the loss of Customs Officer Rene Tamunda. I know that has hit the ranks hard. Could we just start there, Chief?
Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Sabrina. Thank you for having me this morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, we. Since you mentioned the officer, we laid to rest that officer 2 weeks ago, and we provided a law enforcement ceremony for him up at the airport, and also at the mortuary where the interment took place. But yes, we're concerned with that, and the officers are very, very upfront now with this virus, keeping in mind that customs officers are one of the first line of defense for this island. Right. And of course, every day, these officers, when they report to work, they know that when they leave their homes and go to work, they put themselves at risk of this exposure of the virus. And so we're doing everything possible to ensure that we make sure that the workplace and the work environment is safe for the officers to perform their duties.
The customs office down at the port, Chief, was it
hit
pretty hard by the COVID? Because we know that there had been a couple,
one,
right?
Yeah. One additional positive, just last week,
yes,
I believe.
If you recall, I had to close the customs office down at port on Friday because a clerk tested positive, and so we put our so-called work requirements and procedures in place. The protocols that we put in place is that we always have a crew that's ready to replace the officers down at the port should anybody test positive. And in this case, on Friday, that's what happened. I think it was 12 officers and the clerks were exposed. And what we did was we isolated all 12 officers and the clerks and scheduled a contact tracing with public health. At the same time, the officers were allowed to be tested, and within 2 days they got the results back. And we're glad that all officers tested negative at this point in time.
So just one clerk out of that port office that customs office at the port had tested positive in this second incident.
Yes, that's true.
And so it has since reopened?
Yes, we opened the office has been reopened. Of course, after we've had to do some deep sanitizing down at the port to include the office and the vehicles that are down there. Also, we had a contingency where we had additional staff from headquarters standing by to take over that office should one of the officers tested positive. But evidently not, and the office is open, and we're providing the service at this time.
Chief, I got a comment here. Can you ask if they're still having potlucks at customs up at the airport? Because, we had the advisory come out where Dr. Cabrera, the Physicians Advisory Group, had advised people at workplaces not to eat together. So is there any accuracy? Are you guys still having potluck over there or no?
Oh yes. Officers are directed that social distancing is very important, and that they should apply social distancing within the office at this time. So there should be no potluck taking place at the airport.
Okay.
Mr. Prado, we do have a question from one of our viewers online on Facebook, and they're asking, are you processing the line of duty death for Officer Tumunda?
Can you repeat that question, please?
Are you processing the line of duty death for Officer Tumunda?
Yes. Let me just say that I did receive an official letter from Mr. Manda concerning the death of the fallen officer, and I've referred that matter to our legal counsel, and we're looking into that. Let me just say that I'm in support of that request, and I'm looking forward to making sure that we expedite and provide Mr. Manda the responses that she needs.
Right. I saw something on her Facebook where Officer Tumanda had been listed with the Fraternal Order of Police, and they did a graphic that showed his picture, and they had put end of watch with his birth date and death date. So I know that he was recognized by the Fraternal Order of Police, and I thought that was it was pretty touching.
Yes, and thank you for that.
Yeah. JQ, these positives, I mean, this is not the first rodeo you guys have had with a few positives up there at the airport. Are the protocols you have in place, are they working, or are these a couple positives affecting the operations at all?
Fortunately, Chris, we're able to continue our operations up at the airport. We have redundancies in place so that if one section tests positive, we have a backup plan to make sure that we cover for those things. At this time, yes, our protocols as far as sanitation, consistent sanitations are at the airport. We do a complete sanitation of the public areas at least 3 times a day. And of course, on our offices, we try and do that at least 3 times a week.
Well, before we let you guys go, I just wanted to kind of get an update here on this story that had come out earlier this year with the Customs Director, Ike Pareto, and I know that a complaint was made with the airport police. This is a chief, and, of course, you knew I was going to ask this. This is stemming to an incident where we had a complaint called in, and airport police responded to the customs inspection area. When the airport police went in, they did the investigation, then, of course, interviewed all the witnesses, forwarded the complaint to the AG's office. And the story quotes UJQ saying that there were no injuries. This kind of involved, I guess, what was called a shoving match, Chief, with you and a customs staffer. I know you're back on the job, but we never really got a comment from you about it. So would you just care to kind of address it now here on the link?
No, I'll rather not comment on that issue. That issue is ongoing right now, and my attorney has told me not to comment on this.
I did want to follow up on some things. We had former Governor Carl Gutierrez on the air last week, and he was talking about some of the things that were discussed with the Guam Visitors Bureau, and it dealt with some of them dealt with the airport and some of them dealt with customs. And I want to say one of them was like a digitized custom form, and then I think the airport, it was I want to say rapid testing at the airport. Were you guys kind of in on this discussion or had any contact with the former governor or GVB about implementing these initiatives?
As far as the airport is concerned, Bree and Chris, we're consistently looking and constantly looking at ways to try and attract more folks and coming in. One of the courses of action is to have testing at the airport. So we have looked at the different types of machines that will be used. We've looked at the footprint of what square footage requirements they need, what electrical requirements they need, what water requirements they need, and we're ready to execute. We just need to finalize which type of processes that the public health and of course the physicians advisory group is going to recommend to the governor. But the best way to do that is, of course, if we have a rapid testing that is done where that passengers come in, and then within 15 minutes that they'll get their test results back, and whether they're positive or negative. Of course, if they're positive, they'll be taken to an isolation facility, and of course, if they're negative, they'll be free to go and do their business on Guam.
Right. So who's got the tests? I mean, if we put out this call to do the rapid testing, is that something that public health provides the test, or is it through like a private contractor or business?
That has not been finalized. I think it can either go to both. From my standpoint, all I'm doing is making sure that I have the space requirements that they require. And as far as who's going to administer the test, that's for public health to make that determination. I would suppose, or I would recommend that if a private contractor does that, that way they can alleviate public health to continue doing their contact tracing out in the general public.
Right.
What about you, Mr. Pareto? One of the things that Mr. Gutierrez said that he had received $250,000 from Adelope for a project to digitize the custom forms.
I'm aware of that. We're working with GVB in securing a digitalization customs forms to do a paperless process for all incoming passengers at the airport, and we're working on that process right now. I just finally signed an MOU with GVB and UOG in developing this process, and hopefully that we can see this within the next few months. We're trying to get away from the actual hard copy declaration forms and just have the passengers do a paperless process when they come in. So it's in the process.
Oh, okay, but the MOU has not been signed. I didn't really hear you. The MOU has not been signed yet. It's just that you guys are working on it. Is that what you said?
Yes, no,
Okay.
I already signed the MOU
Okay.
with GVB, and the process is now ongoing.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. JQ, thank you. Go ahead.
I think one thing they need to consider also is not only the customs form, but any kind of forms that they need as far as public health to enter, because when you do enter now, you fill out the customs form, but you also got your health declaration form that you have to fill out. So I'm hoping that that's part of the process, because that would definitely streamline and make that process a lot quicker once they arrive.
All right.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that would be a part of that.
Right.
Okay.
JQ, so when you spoke to Uncle Carl about the test, did he say that there was someone who's got a bunch of tests that they want to sell to the government, or is it just kind of maybe a mirror of what they're doing in other jurisdictions?
Well, it was not. It was more so that there was a new test that the FDA has approved, which doesn't require the machines. What it is you take. It's similar to the test that they're using now for the NFL and the NBA, the sports team. So you take a rapid test where you take your saliva instead of going up the nasopharyngeal. You take a saliva swab and then you put it on some type of card, and then the card will change to whatever color that it is, whether you're positive, negative, or so forth. So within 5 to 15 minutes, you'll get a result back on what kind of status you are. So those are the things that we're looking at. However, Guam does not have that the amount of testing that they need at the airport. I think they got a sample amount, but not amount to conduct testing day to day.
Oh, okay.
Thanks,
Thank
JQ.
you. Thank you, Chief. Thank you for answering.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate
Stay
it.
safe.
God, stay safe. Grab some masubi, and there's also the Navy biscuit in there if you guys want. Virtual
Virtual.
virtual butter.
All right.
Okay, hasta. Hey, it's 8:07. To our viewers on KUAM TV, thank you so much. We had a blast with you this morning. I know we went a little bit over, but